All right, guys, welcome back to TCI headquarters. We are going to preview the Orange versus the Orange this weekend. Crazy place to play. Seen crazy things happen up there. Hopefully we see more normal things happen this week. Gosh, we've seen enough crazy for Clemson all year. Mm-hmm. Maybe this will be the week where, as you said previously, the karma gets things a little better aligned and the football gods kind of take care of the Tigers. Huge game, though, Will, especially just, this is kind of a mindset game, right?
Yeah.
And Syracuse is a heck of a team this year.
They got a good football team.
Syracuse teams we saw 3 or 4 years ago. This is a different team, and Clemson's coming off the disappointing loss. Played great, but you still got the mental side of the game. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of a big test for them. Obviously, we saw them open on the road against Duke, and nobody really thought that would happen. So, this will be a big test to see is this team, we've seen them grow up on the field and play better. Are we going to see them grow up a little bit with the mental side?
Yeah, and I asked Justin Maskell about that on Tuesday, and he says it's something they really got to keep their they got to kind of keep the guys pressing and say, hey, look, it's not about what happened the other day. We got to win today, as they like to say. It's about our day-to-day work and getting ready and not focus on what just happened. And we got to forget that. We got to move forward. So it sounds like, at least from they're saying all the right things and they're moving forward. We'll see, as you mentioned, this is a young team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So they got to get past that, and I think that really is going to come up to their quarterback as he moved past it. Because, as you mentioned, it's a Syracuse team that, had some success last year, went 7-6. Not great, but they got a veteran quarterback. They got a veteran offense. They got some skill players out there that can cause some problems. Got a quarterback who just runs around and does everything, and as Dabo says, he can chuck it 75 yards, and if not, he can run it for 90 yards.
Yep.
You just can't go to sleep on it, and their RPO, their game offense revolves around everything he does as the playmaker. So definitely Clemson's challenge this week is shut him down. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough place, and so they got to have their head in right, knowing they're going into, I would say it's not as hostile as other environments Clemson's been into in the past, like Raleigh or something like that, or Georgia or something. But it's going to be a hostile environment. It's going to be an orange out. I think they're saying it's going to be a sellout this week. This is their big game. They want to beat Clemson. And they've come so close the last couple of years.
It's also a noon game.
Also a noon game.
Get up.
That might benefit
that noon funk.
That might benefit Clemson. Actually, we don't know. It didn't benefit Florida State because Clemson was ready to go. So we'll see. But is that crowd ready? How much are they going to be into it? Are they going to get there? Show up early like Clemson's crowd did this past week? We'll see. So it's going to be a challenge. That's pretty much what we're saying. It's going to be a very challenging football game. Pretty good football team who feels like they can beat Clemson, and they're probably saying, hey, if Duke did it, why can't we do it? Right?
What's your key?
All right, I would say my key for Clemson in this game, to me, I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball. I think Clemson's defense has got to keep the quarterback in check. He's so good. He's so talented. And he is so good outside the pocket. I think you got to keep him in the pocket, make him have to make throws from the pocket. So, you can't get upfield and rush the way you want to, maybe like they were doing last week with Florida State, because he's a little more elusive than Jordan Travis. So what you're going to have to do with Gary Schrader is you're going to have to, keep him in that pocket, make him look downfield and go through his progressions, and you hope at that point you get a push up the middle or something, and then you can have maybe Xavier or Justin Maskell or TJ Parker kind of pull him down. By the way, also, this guy's hard to tackle. So you just can't go in there and blow him and think he's going to go down. This is like a Ben Roethlisberger kind of guy. So you bounce off of him. So I remember last year where several times they just bounced off of him. Mm-hmm. They got to remember that he's hard to tackle.
So on the Duke game where the quarterback bounced off and ran
for a touchdown. Kind of the same quarterback, to be honest with you. Yep. Except he's faster than what they saw with Riley over there at Duke. So Riley Leonard. So going to be interesting. My key is containing Garrett Schrader and keeping him in the pocket and making him have to beat him with his arm.
All right, I'll go to the other side of the ball. My key is for the offense to pick up where they left off this week. Cade needs to go in there and show, he's progressing. Mm-hmm. So he needs to play better next week, Saturday, than he did against Florida State. If he does, Clemson's in great shape. These receivers that we talked about before that are progressing, we need them to continue to progress. So the offense needs to pick up where they left off, and obviously just don't turn the ball over. None of these freak touchdowns off the offense, handing turnovers to them. I think the offense, because of some of the stuff you said, well, they're going to need to score a little bit. They can't go out there and score 21 points and feel good about this game. They need to go out there and get up in the 30s, and if you get in the 30s with Clemson's defense, you feel like you should win. You should be in good shape. So I want to see the offense continue to progress. I want to see Cade play well on the road in a hostile environment, as you said. That's kind of one of the next steps for him. But, if he starts checking off these steps, then he's really going to be, what Clemson's been waiting for the last 2 or 3 years. I'm going to feel real good about what you got at that position. All right, score prediction.
Yeah, that's going to be, you just kind of said something that's very important is what does the offense do? Can they avoid the turnovers? Can they win the turnover battle, as Dabo likes to say? They got to win the turnover battle. And that's going to dictate whether they get in the 30s. They would have been in the 30s last week had it not been for the turnover. The defense would have held it to 17 points. So I think this defense is capable of shutting anybody down. I think they will. I love the linebackers. I love the defensive front. A secondary is probably the best secondary in the ACC, and it ain't even close. So I like the fact that they could do those things. But concerned with the offense on the road. I want to see them play 4 quarters on the road. With that said, I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a tight game that's going to go down to the wire. Hopefully it doesn't go down to a kick. But I think Clemson pulls this out. I'm going to go 23-17 Clemson.
Oh man, I'm going to be dying on this side. Xavier Thomas made himself some money Saturday.
Yes, he did.
Xavier Thomas has an iconic play against Syracuse. I want to see Xavier come back. I kind of have a feeling he's going to build off of what he did last week too, and can be a big part of that defense, disruptive, maybe cause turnovers.
Literally be an X factor.
He can definitely be the X factor. So he's playing for his future. So I expect him to play well. I'm going to go a little higher on the score based on what I said earlier. I think Clemson's going to need to get in the 30s to have the game be comfortable. I'm going to hope that it's a little more comfortable than what you said. So I'm going to go Clemson 35, Syracuse 21. So I'm going to go for a couple score win.
Okay.
Which would make me feel a whole lot better on those sidelines. But we'll see what happens. I'll take a 1-point win. Just Tigers need a daggone win right now and get some confidence. But, the more they can win by, just build that confidence level even that much more. Try to get by without some key players we talked about that may be on the sidelines this week. But so this is another one of those games, Clemson fans, you need to watch. You need to get up early and start following TCI. We'll have everything covered from you up there. Unfortunately, the waffle place is no longer there in Syracuse.
The awful waffle.
Awful waffle, place a lot of the students go, fairly close to campus. So this will be Cameron's first, what I'll call real road trip. He went to Duke with us, but now he gets to spend 3 or 4 days in the car with me. So we'll have him trained on everything by the time we finish this road trip. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it's a road trip that's worth it, and we can continue to build a little more excitement on the future of Clemson football. So stay tuned to TCI for the most complete coverage of Clemson athletics.
This is Miles Murphy. Make sure to check out Clemson Insider's most complete football coverage. Nobody does it better.